Members of Commonwealth Elections Observer Group for the 2023 Nigeria's election have arrived in Nigeria to monitor the conduct of the presidential and National Assembly elections slated for Saturday. Trust TV reports that the group, led by former South African President Thabo Mbeki, harps on the need for peaceful, transparent, credible, and inclusive election that will meet the yearnings and aspirations of the people. The Commonwealth Observer Group is in Nigeria for the 7th time since the return of democracy in 1999. Take a look.
The Commonwealth Observer Group is in Nigeria for the 7th time since the return of democracy in 1999. Comprising of eminent personalities from around Commonwealth countries, the group has a mandate to observe and assess the pre-election period, activities on polling day and the post-election period.
Throughout, we'll consider all factors relating to the credibility of the electoral process. We'll assess whether the elections are conducted according to the standards of democratic elections to which Nigeria has committed itself, including the constitutional framework and national legislation, as well as Commonwealth and other international commitments. As we undertake this assessment and conduct our duties, we will be objective, independent, and impartial.
The group is expected to visit selected states of the Federation such as Kano, Sokoto, Lagos, Ondo, Edo, Rivers, Benue, and Abuja and submit recommendations for future improvement of the process.
The Commonwealth Observer Group has no executive role. Our function is not to supervise, but to observe the process as a whole and to form a judgment accordingly. We are here in our individual capacities as eminent and experienced Commonwealth citizens, and as such, our assessment will be our own and not that of any Commonwealth member government or organization.
The Commonwealth Observer Group is equally keen in ensuring the implementation of its previous recommendations with a view to entrenching democratic governance amongst member states. Shafiu Suleiman, Trustee.
Still talking about election preparations, the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Matthew Hassan Kuka, has stated that no Nigerian president or head of state has ever come prepared for the job. In a television interview, he likened the relationship between Nigeria and its political leaders to a bad marriage, adding that the solution to a bad marriage is not a new marriage. Kuka also stated that a lot of changes in Nigeria have been largely unprogrammed and that Nigeria is yet to produce an executive head or a genuinely prepared person for the office of the president. Well, viewers, joining us tonight on the program is the presidential candidate of Action Alliance, Dr. Hamza Al-Mustafa, who will be sharing his views on a variety of issues, including his political aspirations, Nigeria's preparedness for the forthcoming polls, among others. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Major Al-Mustafa again.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Viewers, this is Daily Politics on Cross TV, and I'm your host, Hamza Idris. Once again, welcome to our program. You've seen one of our tidbits. The Commonwealth Observer Group is here, led by former South African President Thabo Mbeki. Is this a glimmer of hope that there will be election? Because the mood is that election will not hold in Nigeria.
Well, first of all, it's my pleasure being your guest. And it's my pleasure being anchored by my namesake.
Yes, Hamza.
It's my pleasure meeting you.
You know, you're from Yobe, I'm from Katsina.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, I am truly delighted to be a candidate in this material point in time in Nigeria's history. The developments that span from primaries through to today has seen so many events came to pass. We believe the remaining ones within the week we are in shall come to pass as predicted, peacefully, with that mutual trust and understanding from across Nigeria, with the support of not only the international community, but Nigerians and in all institutions in the interest of entrenching democracy deeper. I believe INEC being the institution entrusted with this responsibility, is aware of the weight on their shoulders.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they are conscious of it. This time around, the confidence some of us have is simply because of the new introductions of technology in it. So I am certain it will come to pass peacefully, and I'm confident in the activities they are taking that is totally different from what I can visibly talk about, at least in Nigeria's political journey from 1979 to date.
But what about the insinuations that the election will not hold, that this Naira thing, you know, failure to release money as we speak in cash to INEC, among many other issues, actually posing a serious threat to the election? When the insinuation started, as an intelligence officer, what was your thought about it?
Intelligence is collected, collated, and submitted to government for their own understanding and usage. I am not in government, so I cannot know the degree of the intelligence in their hands. But from insinuations, in Nigeria, from inception, there is no election that came to pass without insinuations. So it was, if you can go back in history. The current one, there are vivid issues that are threats, definitely. But the question is, since the executive arm, alongside with a team that is ready to provide security, military, unfortunately, involvement of military in any election is wrong. But the involvement of the military and the police, believing of the high magnitude of the threats facing Nigeria, one can say it is all out of consciousness of making it sure that it becomes a hitch-free exercise. So with that intention, I see something good in it. The aspect of logistics, government is in the best place to speak about. But I believe, despite the fact that there is cash crunch in the country, INEC and the role of this election ought to have been a priority. And I'm sure they know it's a priority. So stopping cash to INEC, I do not think would have been placed to be a secondary issue. So believing with the confidence of the signals we see and hear, not only from INEC, but the government that is supportive to it, actually speaks that they are set to do it. It's not everything that they come to the fore to say. Insinuations are coming from numerous points, numerous other parties and groups who knows their doubts.
Yeah, here we had an exclusive story in the Daily Trust yesterday that the IGP, Inspector General of Police, actually asked DIGs, AIGs, Commissioner of Police, that were earlier deployed in order to facilitate seamless conduct of the election, were asked to stay put, that they should remain in their formations. So we raised many questions, but we couldn't get an answer. I don't know whether you have an inkling on that. Why should they deploy and then suddenly say, don't move? And we have just 5 or 6 days.
It is, I'm a candidate and I'm conscious of my rights and privileges. Police have a role to play deeply, quite okay. But whatever he does, I know of new tactics, and they are conscious or cautious of what candidates and their parties can do. Agitations or agitators might actually begin to bring something new. So to me, it's not yet at the hour where I can now draw my question mark to say I'm in doubt.
But they are closely monitoring.
Well, of course, every candidate is a stakeholder, every party is a stakeholder, just like every candidate in the country. For nothing, looking at our journey to nationhood fully, every citizen should be seen to have a stake. Sure. So whether they ask them to move or not, it could be logistic, it could be tactical, whichever of the above. Since he did not give reasons, then it is wrong for you to adduce reason and now come to the fore. Yours is to watch and take note of events, and at the right time you interpret it.
Maybe with cautious optimism.
I'm on television, so there are things I don't talk on assumptions.
Okay.
It's wrong.
Okay.
When 2 + 2 becomes a fact, I know the result.
All right.
But when I see 2 and I began to see 0, then I cannot call it 2 because there is an intention of the person that brought about 2 trying to add. So when he adds, whatever figure he adds, it is then I can now add it up to say it is this.
Okay, it's been 10 years since you came out of prison,
Right.
correct?
Right, barely.
Yeah, 2013. And
Barely.
the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto, you had him.
Yes.
He issued a statement that
Right.
not even once Nigeria had maybe head of state or an elected president that was prepared. Are you prepared?
I am over.
Because it's like he fired a shot at all of
Hear
you.
me carefully, and I hope he's watching me.
Okay.
We are deeply prepared. If there is a time frame given to you, and then you know it is coming your way, and you are able within that time frame for you to be able to have x-rayed Nigeria deeply, alongside with committed patriotic team or teams driven by patriotism. We looked at Nigeria from inside, not only inside sectors. We look at Nigeria from outside and did quite a lot. We look at the problems of every government in Nigeria. I can just tell you off head.
You've been mapping and graphing.
I can tell you what you will be shocked at,
Okay.
including the entire 18 candidates today and their parties.
Okay, tell us.
No, yeah, sure, there is so many things. You ask.
Yes. Why are you different from 17
I
others?
am different because we have x-rayed yesterday's problems and we know where Nigeria is in relation to the world. We know the situation of Nigeria from the point of view of economic security, social issues, international trade, position of our youth, position of our women, the position of democracy in itself, the state of this country in relation to the international understanding and expectation of Nigeria from the mainstream of international countries, from the point of view of four issues: security, your economy, your diplomacy, and Nigeria's international relevance. And once you don't know this, you are not prepared to, not knowing alone, but knowing what to do with each. Not knowing what to do with each, but knowing the depth of the damage done on each of these. And looking at the time frame of what makes a term in Nigeria, the election that is coming, whoever wins has 4 years as a term. What are those things that you can now be seen to organize in a timetable where some can run singly and some can run concurrently, and concurrently with effective supervision? And we are also conscious of the fact that only in Nigeria, in our understanding so far, where when you come up with policies, you must equally sit back to create protective measures for the policy to come to fruition. We are conscious of the environment we are, yet I'm telling you we are ready and we are actually prepared.
Doctor, almost every other candidate, we brought
Right.
many here, they said they were ready.
Yes.
2019, we brought candidates here, they said they were ready. 2015, 2011, in fact, since 1999.
You have never called me, you have never asked me. And all
So I'm asking you, so I'm calling you
all I'm
now.
waiting for, first, starting from your questions,
Yes.
to being given the opportunity by Nigerians to be there, and there will be a new Nigeria, I promise you.
Okay, for instance,
If I'm not prepared,
let me take you to
if
your
I'm not
familiar
prepared,
terrain.
If I'm not prepared,
Yes.
I can't canvass for it, because I hate those who can come to the fore and make false promises. If I know I cannot do it, I wouldn't have started. I'm doing it right now, and I'm seeing what my contemporaries are saying and doing. I'm not the type that will say for people to hear. We are the doing type. We are the liberal leaders. We don't sit back in the comfort of the tower of power and believe that you are providing leadership. We are not, we are realists.
Okay, I will ask you a question in your familiar terrain, but we will go on a short break.
Please do.
Viewers, please don't go away. We will be back shortly.
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Nigeria's 2023 general elections are just around the corner, and Trust TV is your trusted guide to the polls.
With live reports from polling stations, collation centers, and key locations across the country, you won't miss a moment of the action as we bring you comprehensive coverage and analysis with invited guests, including politicians, experts, and voters to join us in the studio for in-depth discussions throughout the day.
You will also have your say too. Call in, share your thoughts on social media, take part in our live polls as well as our question and answer sessions.
So join Nigeria Decides on Trust TV on Election Day starting at 8 a.m. for the most comprehensive and trustworthy coverage of the 2023 general election.
Haruna, Bisi, Akman, Unduka, how will I want to do on election day?
On election day, I go take my PVC. When I reach where I vote to, I broom I go put my hand for Tinubu. On election day, I go take my PVC. When I reach where I vote to, I broom I go put my hand for Tinubu.
People of Nigeria, make we all come out on election day and vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as president. Make Nigeria for better. Make you put your hand for APC, the party where show broom. Not forget now broom you go put your hand in. Bam!
On election day, I go take my PVC. When I reach where I vote to, I broom I go put my hand for Tinubu.
Welcome back. We still have Major Hamza Al-Mustafa retired in the studio. He served as Chief Security Officer to former Head of State, General Sani Abacha. When you started showing interest, 2017 if I'm not wrong, in politics, you formed Green Party of Nigeria.
Sure.
But you formed it, but you
Yeah.
dumped it and went for People's Party of Nigeria to vie for the presidency in 2019. I know the expectation was that if you got it, you will address insecurity. We've been battling Boko Haram, for instance, since 2009 or thereabout, up till now. Assuming you won in 2019, will it be different from what we're having now?
First of all, let me correct this assertion. I did not dump a party.
Okay.
I'm not the type that creates and dump.
Okay.
I don't do that. Some technicalities came up to the fore.
With the Green Party?
With the Green Party, because I joined it and I wanted to adjust numerous things to suit it. Because it's not only a party, there were so many things to do with green initiatives that was to do in helping Nigeria's environment, agriculture, in relation to other green movements around the world. So it was something bigger. Party was just an aspect of it, and all for me to be able to carry our youth and our technocrats involved into it, because that's what the country requires. Now, the question on security.
Yes.
If we have the opportunity.
I like you keep saying we, you don't say I.
No, I is arrogance.
Okay.
We, you are referring to a system, a movement, and an authority.
Okay.
And I'm talking on that. Referring to the system, we haven't done the much we have in our hands. You know, if you want to solve a problem, you need to look at the data that ordinary eyes don't see. And for the collection of a particular point, it doesn't matter the distance, time it takes you to traverse to a certain distance that is difficult or considered obstacle to a normal person. It is worth it, because you are looking for a solution for humanity. We have seen it, and I can say 360 degrees round. Seeing Nigeria from Francophone countries, seeing Nigeria from far away, where beneficiaries of the activities that promotes Boko Haram or insurgency in Nigeria in a nutshell. And then coming to see it from home, and coming to see it from the states in Nigeria that feels it, and talking to the victims, and talking to the active participants, whether in custody or in prison. I've done all this.
Okay.
And then I looked on the other side, casualties on the side of our security agencies, the military, paramilitary, including police, those who are involved, innocent people, the game played that incites Muslims against Christians, the killings of babies, of women, pregnant women, attacking hospitals, all this.
The INEC structure in
that any single thing that all laws in the world negates are what we have witnessed in the last 23 years now. Actually, to many people who can give you different times, occurrence and reoccurrence, appearance or reappearance of the effect of insurgency in Nigeria comes from time to time. But the beginning, from conception to its actualization to the pains inflicted in Nigeria, started 1st November 1999.
Wow.
Yes, and that is the truth.
Few months after.
Of course.
The emergence of democratic
November
government.
1999, that's when Boko Haram reared itself the first time. Whether it was understood on time is another thing, but the records are kept. Whether the actors were understood, whether those who were sponsoring them were known earlier, whether the dimension it was to take was either taken from the serious point of view or neglected or mismanaged, the records are equally there.
Where are they? Is it man-made or is a natural occurrence that happens to any other country?
It's man-made in Nigeria.
How do you mean?
Yes. If you go into the causes and you'll go into the actors and you go into the statements taken from the actors then, and then if you go also into their activities, supplies of logistics, weapons, ammunition, money, and the indoctrination, the doctrine they take and then to serve as a guide, and those who are supplying it, and then that as one. Behind them, the activities that went behind, another thing entirely. And then me, I have the privilege, unfortunately or fortunately,
yes,
and I appreciate that. They were in prison with me, 138 of them.
The Boko Haram
arrested.
Commanders.
I didn't run away from them. I did not keep them aside. For the interest of my country, I need to know. We had arguments with some of them on the roles they played and the belief they had, because there were among them highly educated ones. I saw master's degree holders amongst them who were with us, and I went in to interrogate them, most of them by time. So they joined us in 2009 to 2013. You can imagine what that means. And I did quite a lot in the prison that brought us together. So the information I have gathered from there alone, I thought I was satisfied, talk less. The fact that we agreed to come into politics took us into doing many more things, meaning all the visitations we have had that I made mention of earlier. So security, as far as Nigeria is concerned, we have wronged those who believe that the insurgency in point A or in state A or in country A is the same thing with the insurgency you are experiencing are those who cannot manage. They don't even know. To come to manage insurgency, first of all, it doesn't matter what you know. Like our military is heavily conventional warfare-oriented force. Your military. So fighting in built-up areas like this, in managing internal security, primarily is police work. Primarily.
Yeah.
But now it's bigger than police. Military was pushed into it.
And it is appearing to be bigger than the military also.
No, it's not bigger than our military.
Then why is the problem? This is 14th year.
You see, there are
is somebody hiding something somewhere?
Hold on. There are issues I may not talk about, but I will tell you this. First, for you to say there is a threat that I have seen and known in Nigeria that is bigger than our military, I say no.
Is it because of your Nigeria-Cameroon conflict, Cameroon-Libya conflict, your visitation to other countries? Because I read all this about you.
No, I have put the Nigerian military on a scale. Who they were yesterday, who they are today. Now sit down and look at them and the numerous fronts the military is engaged in. Take, for example, I'm a presidential candidate.
Yes.
There is election around the corner. I expect the military should not be pushed into having the additional pains of securing the environment for election to take place. Insurgents are watching just like you and I. Those pushing them and those masterminding crisis are also watching. They listen to news, they listen to radio. You might not know them, you don't know who they recruit that are probably in every single sector. So information comes back to them faster because they need it, because of the intent. So to me, overstretching any of the agencies you call your backbone is a big mistake. Resources, the right equipments, I repeat, the right equipments.
Is it that we don't have the right equipment now?
I say the right equipment. I'm aspiring for the office of Commander-in-Chief.
When you get it, you will.
So if I don't know what that I'm talking to you about,
then we have the Tucanos. What more are we looking for?
There is no need for me to contest.
Major.
See the amount of time you wasted to have that aircraft. See the amount of restrictions you had. See the embarrassment you had for you to have it. But as far as Mustafa is concerned, that is a colossal waste. That is an embarrassment. National, you don't need it. The world has since gone far. There are 10 million times many things open for you to utilize in the containment of the threats around yourself. Because somebody somewhere has advised you to say, stick to this advice, and you now become rigid and obey that. I don't want to go into technicalities or tacticalities, but to me, the Tucano you are talking about is a double-edged sword. And the professionals who are looking at me, they know what I'm talking about. You don't need it.
We don't need the Tucanos.
You don't need it. We want to secure this country, and enough of deceit, enough of lies.
But then what is needed?
What is needed, and numerous other things. You are going into technicalities or tacticalities. I won't go that with you.
Maybe when you win, you will now do.
You made mention of these Tucano aircraft. See all the noise, all the hues and says, all about Tucano. You don't need it. You don't need it. You know, let me tell you this.
Okay.
As a journalist, the microphone on your neck, if it happens to have a blade, that whenever you move, it kicks and cuts your chest, will you be happy with it?
No.
Okay, nobody wants double-edged sword.
And that is what is happening.
I know what I know.
Okay, I covered the Boko Haram for the Daily Trust since inception up to 2015 when I came back here. So what I'm saying is, you said military needs not to be overstretched.
Yes, of course.
And they are overstretched now. Why was it difficult for them to contain it? Because I'm talking from experience. When this thing started, and it was confined to the Northeast, before it snowballed and permeated all the six geopolitical zones.
Let me give you one tiny. They were always underrated at the beginning. Meaning, those who were providing direction or leadership believed they were fighting a ragtag army that was small. Terrain was not taken into cognizance. The intention of those behind them, logistics, means of movement, modalities of movement at wee hours, utilization of environment in conducting their activities, teleguiding their activities from those who sponsored them. Your satellite, iPad or PCs, telephones today that they are given are those that prepare and talk and indicate to them where what is where. As at that material time, who was providing that satellite for your military in the field? They are our sons, they are our brothers, they are our sisters in the field killed. Whether you are a direct biological father of any soldier, any officer, you are a father, he is part of you. The pains of killing a soldier in the field is only in Nigeria we don't seem to know. Nobody cares unless it affects his own house. Extremely bad. That sense of belonging speaks for itself. And that's why the pains of any person who is entrusted with resources only for him to use it for himself rather than supporting warfare, supporting those in the field, is equally worse than the threat facing the country.
Was that what we faced, or this?
I know what I'm talking about.
And maybe the people you are talking to are aware.
There are numerous segments when it comes to war, from the office of the president, to the legislature, to sub-commanders, to the roles of the Ministry of Defense, to the role of local leaders. All are supposed to be supportive. Military, paramilitary, police, if they are combined together to fight for the common interest of a country, everybody is a stakeholder. The question here is, you can easily look at it, and from you as a journalist, from the reports received earlier, if you sit down and have an overview of what was collected in the last 10 years alone, is disturbing, is disheartening. The number of casualties we have had, we shouldn't have had. How many people bought equipment for the military? Were they reliable? How many bulletproof jackets were bought? Were they tested? Were they good? We have bulletproof jackets. Soldiers were shot in the chest. You have helmets. They were shot in the head. Was that helmet? Was that a bulletproof jacket?
Is that part of the war economy?
No,
and if you win,
no,
for
see,
instance,
no,
will
no,
you
no.
prop
See,
this? Will you prop some of this?
I tell you this. If we are fighting internal security problems, or you are fighting a conventional warfare, when it comes to logistics, it is actually the tail of the tiger that works the body. Entrusting a local contractor or an uncertified contractor to bring whatever equipment from whichever part of the world is destructive. There are stages of certifying him. There are stages of testing every tiny little equipment brought. Standardization, does it meet it? He bought it from where? Where must you be fighting House C? And you very well know that the neighbor of House C is D. And then you are fighting D, and you are friendly with C. And you don't even understand how they communicate as immediate neighbors. And you now continue to crown C as your supplier and supporter.
Are some people profiting from this?
I tell you, let me, so that I will not prolong you.
Yes, because I have many other questions. Are some people profiting from this?
Sure,
Major?
of course. You know better than me. You covered it. You know all the reports.
Will you probe them if you get to the presidency?
We have secret messages in depth for this country. And remember, before I said, if God give us the privilege and people vote us into authority, 6 months after I attain, normalize things and give a direction, I'll be relocating to Zambia. It's not just a mere statement.
But President Buhari also said he will relocate. In fact, he relocated the command center to Maiduguri. And he assured us in 2015 that by December, Boko Haram will be history. Here we are. He was a general.
See, I tell you, let me tell you.
Are you different from him?
Let me tell you this. You showed a clip at the beginning saying, showing Bishop Kuka saying that no president ever, military or civil, that came to the job prepared. And my assertion is that we are more than prepared. I don't know who was a candidate that done much of the investigation we have done. I don't know who was that military leader who has the data we are keeping, we are sitting on X-raying Nigeria and looking at Nigeria's future.
But Buhari was head of state?
Hold on, of course, that doesn't mean.
And he was preparing for this since 2003.
See.
Up to after he contested for the 4th time that he got it.
Some believe in reports. Some believe in reports and seeing behind the reports. Some doubt all reports until it is X-rayed and authenticated and re-authenticated for the safety of people.
So where do you belong?
The third one.
Where do you belong?
The third one.
Okay, you authenticate. You look behind the scene.
And re-authenticate.
And you re-authenticate.
What took me outside Nigeria to see Nigeria from outside? To some it's a waste. To me it's a school. And unless you go to the school, you will not be talking about being qualified to be a student of that school.
Okay, you need a platform to get to the presidency. And you are now vying for this office under Action Alliance.
Correct.
Just a few days ago, they said they have aligned with Atiku Abubakar. Even though yesterday you issued a statement.
Yes.
You are having problem at the party level.
There is no problem whatsoever.
What do you mean?
Correct. Misinterpretation of the law, and then a scam from those who initiated that statement in itself.
Okay.
Including the PDP you are talking about. If I am the candidate, if I'm the one giving my consent to now subject my rights to another candidate,
yes,
I should have been consulted, correct?
So nobody consulted
Nobody
you.
talked to me.
Atiku did not talk to you?
I saw Atiku the day they came for peace accord, the first one. That's when I saw him.
So there's all a dummy, is that correct?
It's a deceit, it's a scam, it's an irresponsible act because there is a court order, it was violated, lies were told to Nigerians, it's a weightier thing.
So you're a candidate?
I'm a firm, authentic candidate of Action Alliance. I'm contesting this election. I am in the race fully, and myself and my running mate. And so also all other candidates in Action Alliance are active and effective candidates recognized by INEC. Every single thing we did, let me tell you this, we did it according to the provisions of the law, from that of the party, INEC Act, and national law. And I'll tell you this with pride. No person, a man or woman, that has violated anything in Action Alliance. In Action Alliance, we are sending signals of a family. Every single sector, from the electronic means that is given today, this technology. That's why I can tell you, even the Razzmatazz campaign, that of 18th century, go to towns, whether people are suffering or not. You just go to be drumming and be singing and dancing. In the meantime, people are hungry. There is no money with them. They are in a state of hopelessness. You are dancing on a stage before them. To me, that was yesterday.
Is that why you are not doing the pump up?
We are doing too much quite underneath. And I can tell you this.
How spread are you?
Hold on.
How spread?
Hold on. Spread across the country.
You
See,
mean
hold on.
You've never been listed in all the polls that we've seen.
That is media polls. Those who
we didn't conduct that
hold on. I am privileged to know of candidates who patronize media on a daily basis. I know of those who pay, who should be including them in every single news for desperation for them to win. That to me is not campaign. It's a forum to tell lies and to deceive people.
I
can never, see, hold on. If all candidates are brighter than me, and I know I can, even when you give me the responsibility to do it, I will not take an inch forward.
All right, thank you very much.
No,
we'll go on a break. I will give you room to expatiate on that. Viewers, please don't go away. We'll be back shortly.
God has once again brought us to another season of general elections across the country. I am therefore calling on all of you to exercise your franchise in a peaceful atmosphere. I am calling on specifically our traditional rulers, religious leaders, and parents to warn their followers and wards alike to not allow themselves to be used by a few to foment trouble. I want to assure you that the government has taken adequate security measures to allow everyone to come out and cast their votes. I am therefore appealing to everyone to give them the necessary support. Fellow Nigerians, I want to use this opportunity to once again thank you for electing me to be your president on 2 occasions. I am not a contestant in this election, but my party, the All Progressive Congress, has a candidate in the person of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. As I mentioned before, Tinubu is a true believer in Nigeria, who loves the people and the development of our country. I am calling on all of you to vote Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He is reliable, and I trust he will build on our achievements. Finally, I want to once again assure you that I am fully aware of the current hardship you are facing as a result of some policies of the government which are meant to bring overall improvement to the country. I am appealing to you to exercise further patience as we take appropriate measures to ease these hardships. God willing, there will be light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, you are watching Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow the conversation across our social platforms on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. We still have Major Hamza Al-Mustafa, retired doctor in his own right. The perception by most Nigerians is that the military don't make good politicians, because almost with the exception of few, I don't want to mention them, they didn't end well. When they leave, you see people pointing accusing fingers at them, including Buhari. Some are saying most likely that glorious exit is not there, going by so many things that are happening. Now, why is it the military don't make good politicians?
I think it's a wrong assumption. Just talk about individuals.
Okay.
It's not all civilians, full civilians who were never in the military or paramilitary, that in politics, that ended up successfully.
People are looking at Air-Adua with nostalgia.
I know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You have not tested people. Flexibility, humility, simplicity, knowledge of the game, knowledge of the players, knowledge of the environment tells you a lot. Conscious of your meeting, conscious of your team, before attaining power and what to do after attainment of power are two different worlds. The game before you, correction, the time frame before you to provide leadership is actually what should be uppermost. So before you even attain the throne, these are already there templated. It is only individuals that you have. If at whatever given time as a man, as a human being, because you cannot be perfect, you bring Mr. BCD on board into whatever situation, probably heading your primary promises to the people, and you realize they are not performing, leaving them on it, for you to continue to now be scoring minuses every day is disservice to you, is disservice to your oath, is disservice to your promises to people, is disservice to the country.
Are you going to be different?
I am different.
Because President Buhari, for instance, he promised economy, fight corruption,
I'm not,
fight insecurity.
I am not.
We are still battling with this.
I am not in any way using any government as my yardstick or mirror to reflect therefrom. I told you we are students and we have x-rayed every regime in Nigeria.
Why is it that he didn't get it right after all the trials?
He has a team. He has set goals. Look at the team. Assess him from there. I am Hamza Al-Mustafa.
Was it a wrong team he put
I am Hamza Al-Mustafa, a candidate in Action Alliance. I am not in APC.
So you will get it right if you get.
This program is not for Hamza Al-Mustafa to x-ray and evaluate the performance of President
But you
Buhari.
can showcase what stands you out.
What stands me out is what I have outlined at the beginning.
Okay.
Knowing the ills, knowing the solutions, the timely application of solutions if given the time, identification or talent spotting, irrespective of who he is, she is, irrespective of where he or she comes from, irrespective of which party the person is, so long he can deliver, so long he is a patriot or she is a patriot, they are welcome on board. We shall form that team. The mistake we are making,
Okay.
Party differences has restricted persons before assumption into power. All the activities from primaries, your membership in your party restricts you to the activities of your party. Coming on board leadership, on your oath, presents the country as your constituency. It's different. So you cannot say this expert, this technocrat, whose capacity is what the country is waiting for. But for you to say, no, he was not in our party, we don't need him. But the country needs him. The oath of office you took told you to now look at the country as your constituency. These are part of some of the mistakes. Like I said, I do not want to x-ray the performance or evaluate any government. X-ray me.
You want to be rated based on who you are.
Who we are.
Okay, most of our voters now, the larger percentage, youths, you know, they were born when you actually left the military. They only heard of you, and that is why they are there for you. How are you financing your campaign? Because you only served 15 years when you left the military, and you've been out of power.
I didn't leave the military 15 years because of the death of Abacha.
Yeah, 1998.
1998, Abacha died.
Yeah.
I was arrested still in military. They refused to court-martial me and get me retired formally before trying me in civil court. I reminded them of the provisions of the law and that of the military law on terms and conditions of service. They refused because there was nothing to court-martial me for. So if there is nothing to court-martial me for, how come you are now charging me with some offenses that you also could not substantiate? I was singled out for persecution, and thank God I'm a student of that. With torture that you may not understand. I have not spoken deep about what I went through. That I'm sure your program.
I wish we have the time.
I'm sure your program is not meant for that.
Yes.
So the Mustafa you saw up to the time General Abacha died, the Mustafa that went through the persecution I went through for the 15 years you talked about,
yes,
is another Mustafa completely.
So where is this Mustafa getting money to prosecute the electioneering?
First of all,
because I know that your house in Abuja was raided, the one in Kano was raided, the one in Yobe was raided.
Every single thing.
You were declared rich.
In fact, I lost virtually even the dress to wear. I hadn't. I had only a shirt and a trouser and a sweat shoe, which was also seized and given slippers to wear, and my wristwatch that was guiding me for prayer was taken. So
who is funding you now?
Goodwill. People we relate to, my friends, my party, from across Nigeria and without. Funding the party in itself, there are numerous people on Goodwill, but we decided to say, rather than the razzmatazz you see, at this particular point in time, watch my words, you come to a capital city, the capital of a state, you don't go to rural areas, you don't go to meet people in their villages, to see, monitor, and know the pains of those in rural areas. But you decide because you have money, the arrogancy of money or the arrogancy of seeking for power, you come to the center stage of the city, you pay little money to the people, and you gather them together, then for you to come and dance, and you believe they are your lovers because you gave them money. And look at the crunch of the hardship in Nigeria. Totally unrealistic, is disheartening, is disturbing, is inhuman. Watch what I'm saying. It's inhuman. We watched that. We saw that. That's why we go by road. We are realists. I cannot tell you I'm going to govern people and I will run away from understanding and feeling what they feel. That is deceitful. So right from the beginning, if only Nigerians can sit back and x-ray every single candidate, his activities, his antecedents, his background, it's left for them to understand who is honest, who is sincere, who is reliable, who is dependable with their votes and with their rights to govern them in the next 4 years. Okay. We are honest. We fear God Almighty. We feel for any Nigerian. We don't want to know where the Nigerian comes from. A Nigerian is an uncle, is a father, is a grandfather, is a sister, or is a brother.
Okay, we have run out of time, but I'm tempted to ask you just 2 questions which I want you to answer with yes or no. Will you go into alliance with anybody?
Nobody. Hamza Al-Mustafa is presidential candidate of Action Alliance. He is not intending to. He has not done so, and he is not intending to. Election is fixed. We are set to go into it. Right now, I will tell you this. from our contacts, from using the technology you have. Every blessed day we are talking to all parts of Nigeria. That's what people don't understand. All openings available to contact people, we use it. That's what they don't understand.
Okay.
It's cheaper, it's simpler. We go to people, they come to me. I visit them in their rural areas. The fundamental thing is understanding INEC's block voting system.
And that's what you will cash on.
The block voters in Nigeria have entered agreement with me. I'm revealing this secret I shouldn't have.
All right.
Today, as if election is brought forward to be conducted tomorrow, I am sitting with you, I'm guaranteed of 30 million.
Thank you very much. I am compelled to stop here.
Thank you.
But I hope to have you again.
Thank you so much.
Maybe
Looking
after
forward.
the election.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
Yes,
Thank you.
Dr. Major Hamza Al-Mustafa for
Appreciate
coming to our program.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That's a wrap on today's program. Do well to collect your permanent voter's card and make a commitment to vote in the forthcoming election to guarantee a better future for all of us. Thanks for watching and do join us again. I'm Hamza Idris.